Good afternoon, my dear kids. Once again, welcome back to the class of science and standard. Right? This is Mr. Raj, your science teacher. Once again, signing in from this part of the world, deepest southmost part of our country, Cochin, Kerala. And here we are going to discuss about something related to physics. Okay, something related to physics, and the name of the chapter is force and laws of motion. Okay. Uh, okay, force or law of motion. Mithun Raj, only I prepared this PowerPoint presentation. Okay, actually the force and laws of motion is been derived by Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, the legendary scientist and a physicist or mathematician. His name was Isaac Newton. He is also known as the father of physics. Okay, father of classical physics. Modern physics, the father is considered as Einstein. Okay. So in the last class we were discussing about force, unbalanced force and balanced force. But what we want to study now, it is about something very interesting, and it is called as laws of motion. Okay, laws of motion. Three laws of motions are there. Actually, first Galileo was this man. He was an optician. Okay, he was a man who makes specs and instruments. Sorry, related to optics or light and all. After that, Newton formulated all these three laws. So, the laws of motion of Newton. Before studying that, some terms you must study. Like in the first chapter of motion, you studied about acceleration, velocity, when what displacement, distance, a lot of equations also you studied. Okay, the same equations you need it in this chapter, because without acceleration there won't be any motion. Okay, without acceleration or without velocity there won't be any motion. So that equation also is very important in this chapter. Okay, we will revise that also. Once again we will revise that part also in this chapter. Okay, another important chapter. This is also an important chapter regarding physics, because the application of this chapter will continue for your higher studies. Okay, there is nothing in physics which connects with laws of motion. Okay, classical mechanics and mechanics, everything is being related by the laws of motion of Sir Isaac Newton. So before going that in this class, we will describe or we will talk about two things. Okay, we are not directly going to laws of motion. Actually, laws of motion is very easy. But before that, you must know two things. Okay, one is inertia, and the second one is momentum. Okay, two things we need to study: momentum and inertia. Then only it will be easy for you to understand the laws of motion. Before that, just I'll give an introduction of our scientist. Okay, the great man, Sir Isaac Newton. Anyway, these all things won't ask for exams, but it's only for your general knowledge. Okay, Sir Isaac Newton was an English physicist and mathematician who is widely regarded as one of the most influential scientists of all time and as a key figure in the scientific revolution. Okay, the world revolution made by the science. The Isaac Newton was the key man behind all those principles. Newton also made several contributions to optics and shares credit with Gottfried Leibniz. Leibniz is another physicist. Okay, he first discovered calculator and all for the invention of this infinitesimal calculus. Infinitesimal calculus is the one, the base behind calculators and even now our computers. Newton's Principia formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation that dominated scientists. Okay, leave anyway. You don't want to study about Newton. It's not a history class. I am not wasting your time. Okay, because Isaac Newton formulated the three laws of motion. That's why there is an introduction given to this Isaac Newton. It is also in your textbook. Just read it. Questions, I think till now they didn't ask any question from that part. Okay, just next. What is important? The three laws are very important. First one, we want to study about inertia. So what is inertia? Okay, the moment of inertia, what is it? I think it's a new term for you. Before you didn't study about inertia. No, I am sure you didn't study about inertia in 8th standard or again before you didn't study. So actually inertia, what is inertia? Inertia is a property of a body. The definition is not given here. Inertia is a property of the body which tends to stay at rest, okay, or of uniform motion. Understand? For example, if you place a football in a ground, listen carefully for this example. If you place a football on a ground, today we will discuss only about inertia because it is not very easy to describe inertia and momentum in two classes. After understanding inertia and momentum, it will be very easy for you to understand the three laws. Today we will only discuss about inertia. There is too much to discuss regarding inertia. Just imagine a football. Any diagrams are there? Okay, for example of inertia. Okay, these are the examples, but just imagine a football in a ground. Okay, a football is in a football court. Nobody is acting any pressure on it. Okay, nobody is acting any pressure on that football. So that football will remain what? It will remain at rest, isn't it? That football will remain at rest, no matter. So that property of a object to remain at rest is called as inertia. Okay, that property, particular property of a body. In this case, the mass of the body experiment show the inertia is directly proportional to the mass. Distribution of mass in the body. Like this, you won't understand. See, this is the equation, this is the experiment conducted by Galileo. Actually, not by Newton, it was conducted by Galileo, but it describes the three laws of motion. For example, if you, this is a good example. A coin is placed on a paper and the paper is placed on a cup, over a cup. Okay, in your home also you can do this experiment like this. Just pull that paper with high acceleration. What will happen? The coin will come with the paper or the coin will fall into that glass. Of course, that coin will fall into that glass. That is because of inertia of that coin. Understand? The coin continues to tend to be in rest. Even if the paper is moving, because of inertia, the coin will continue to be at rest. Understand? That's why it is not going with this paper. It is falling down. This is the real thing happening there, not this one. Okay? If there is no inertia, it will be like this. If there is inertia, the coin will fall into the glass. Inertia is nothing but the property of an object to stay at rest. Okay? It tends to stay at rest. Okay? It tends to stay at rest. Even if the other external force is acting on it, it will try to stay at rest. For example, this one. Where is another example? Is there any another example? Simple thing. And that inertia is directly proportional to the mass. If mass is high means inertia is also high. For example, you have two cars, a toy car and a big car, a real car. Understand? Anyway, both are at rest. So they both has inertia. Which car is easier to move? The big one or the small one? Anyway, you cannot start the car. Which car is easy to move? The small one or the big one? Of course, no doubt the small car is very easy to move because the bigger one has more mass, smaller one has less mass. So inertia is directly proportional to what? It is proportional to the mass of the object. Okay, only you want to study that term, what is inertia. Okay, a property of an object to continue the state of rest unless an unbalanced force is acting on it, and that force must be enough to move that object. Then only we can break the inertia. For example, if you are traveling through a bus, okay, traveling by a bus, suddenly the bus driver applies a brake. What will happen? See, this is the picture for that. If this comes and hit this brick, what will happen? Because of inertia, not only it tends to stay at rest, it also tends to stay at uniform motion, isn't it? It will try to continue this uniform motion. The car is hitting this brick and car is at rest, but the body inside the car, it continues to move because of inertia, uniform motion. That's why during accident we are getting wounded. Understand? If you are standing in a bus, suddenly the bus driver brakes, apply the brakes, what will happen? We will have a tendency to fall forward, isn't it? That is because of that inertia we are possessing inside our body. The same time, direction based inertia also is there. The same bus you are traveling, and the driver suddenly with high speed he turned towards the right side. Okay, what will happen to you? Will you feel anything? Of course, you will feel a force to the opposite direction, isn't it? If the bus is driving to the right, the force we are experiencing will be on the opposite direction to the left side. That is also inertia due to direction. Understand? The property of an object to stay at rest or in uniform motion or in same direction. That is called as inertia. Understand? That is the first thing we want to study before going into the laws of motion. I know this one is a bit difficult for you. Next one is momentum. That is very easy to study. But inertia, it is a small problem for you to understand. I will try to give some pictures regarding this. Okay, some pictures or some short videos which will explain this inertia. Okay, animated videos are there. Okay, I will try to give that. Just by telling that you won't understand. Okay, actually inertia and all we want to study it by experiment. Okay, inertia, the definition is this one: the property of a body which tends to stay at rest or in uniform motion or in a single direction unless an unbalanced force acts on it. Actually, the first law of motion is about inertia. Understand? That we will study in the next classes. For this class, it's only one thing. It is called as inertia. Okay, I will give the definition. I will give some photos by which we can understand the inertia. Okay, that's it, my kids. That's all for today. Tomorrow we will go with momentum, and after that we will go through the 3 laws of motion. After studying the 3 laws of motion, there is a lots of derivations. Derivations are not there. Equations are there. Okay. Anyway, force is something related with acceleration. So the equation of acceleration we studied in the last chapter, we want to take that and we want to apply that in this chapter. That is the main theme of this chapter, and it is not a difficult chapter like last one. Okay, if you understand inertia, if you understand momentum, everything is easy. All the other things you already studied. Okay, my dear kids, that's it. 1 or 2 times go through the video. Reading the textbook, it won't be easy to understand. Okay, it is a bit complicated given in textbook. I will try to provide some easy examples and all regarding inertia. Once you understand inertia, momentum is very easy. Okay, if you understand both momentum and inertia, everything will be very fine. So that's it. Signing off from this class. I am winding up this class. Hope soon we will meet with another class tomorrow. Okay, notes and all I will provide afterwards. I already have the notes with me. Afterwards I will provide all those things. Till then, stay at home, stay safe. My dear kids, it's Corona time. Okay, bye bye and Jai Hind.